Is a psychologist, Dr. Morgan Francis, to talk about this tragedy.
Yeah.
You know, you hear about how Moore had suffered so many injuries and then the recovery on top of that and this immense pressure to perform. It really is on a level that most of us can never comprehend.
Exactly. There's so much pressure and such at a high level. And it is such a tragedy to see such a young man, 25 years old, an elite athlete that had battled through injuries only to fall victim to his own mental health. And so we have such compassion and empathy. And it makes us now really truly ask the questions about when things look good on the outside, what's really happening on the inside for our athletes?
I think that's such a great point. And I know that in recent years, the NFL, they have tackled mental health, right? Because it's so important and they're seeing it so much more often with these issues. And just, you know, I feel like there's a big stigma among men that, you know what, it's okay. We've got this. Men don't need help, right? But that stigma just needs to stop.
It really does, because it's not giving men the service that they need. And thank goodness the NFL is now requiring all of their teams to have licensed behavioral specialists, clinicians on staff, so they can respond to crises, manage psychoeducation, and provide resources. And we also need to start young. We need to help our young athletes, males and females, really start to be able to understand their own mental health.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said start young, because you know it's always about the kids, right? And when you start young, that it doesn't become so difficult as you get older in life. So what can we do to instill our young athletes, you know, just the fact that it's okay when, you know, you're gonna have falls, but it's okay to go through it and then pick yourself up? What should they do?
So really important to help your athlete understand their own stress. How does it manage, and how does it show up in their body, right? Is there a feeling, is my stomach hurt? Do I have headaches? Am I not sleeping as well? Is it hard for me to focus? So really trying to teach them more mindfulness skills. I really love to incorporate mindfulness as also emotion regulation, distress tolerance, and then teaching them how to communicate to parents, to coaches, to supported people around them, what is going on. And another key thing is important to recognize is to help coaches know how to ask those questions, know what signs that they should look for in their athletes, because they may not know. I've had many times, my kids are very involved in sports, and my husband's brought me out onto the field and said, I need you to talk to this kid. Please help him take some deep breaths, because I can tell he's feeling really anxious right now before he goes onto the field. So it's really important that coaches also are paying attention to this.
Yeah, be observant. You know, one thing that stuck out on that full screen that we showed was balance identity. Tell me more about that.
So much of our, you know, identity can be completely enmeshed with our athletics. So we lose our sense of self. So we're no longer a kid. Now we are only known for our sport. And there's a lot of pressure. I will say I see it with the NIL, name, image, likeness, right? And specifically with football, where it's all encompassing, trying to get these sponsors and brands and trying to have this image on social media.
It's such a business.
It is such a business. So we really need to protect our kids, especially the young ones around this, because they're, like you said, it's a business. And so that can play a big pressure also on their mental health, that if they have a bad game, how is that going to affect my NIL?
Right. Such great advice. Dr. Morgan Francis, great to see you.
Good
great
to
have
see
you
too.
back again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.